what a crazy green day. I am not complaining at all. The positions that I've been buying have, really popped off. Okay. So, I know that my portfolio is green. I'm hoping that your portfolio is green, especially if you've been buying these dips. So, we'll get into the charts in just a second. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Also, again, this is my Discord community. We're dropping plays in here every single day. We bought some Microsoft Leaps about 3 weeks ago, give or take. We just sold them. They were at 11.85, and we just sold them today. I actually didn't post a picture, but we've been holding them for about 3 weeks ish. They hit a little over 14, so about a $250 gain there. And then also today we got into some Palantir puts to the downside, and made a nice little gain there, $25. And then they actually kept going all the way up to 207, so about a $60 gain if you kept holding those contracts. So we're making daily plays. If you want to check this out, if you want daily plays, check out the link in the description. Also, if you want to learn how to trade, if you're having trouble in the stock market, go ahead and check out the school community. This is the third link in the description. I show you how to trade. This is my classroom. This is where I put all of my videos in here. Also, I have this trading software that gives you daily trades. So if you want to check that out, it is going to be in here. You can watch the full video and check it out here. It's truevest.ai. Okay. Lots of people are using it and we're killing it with that. Okay. So again, let's check out the charts now. Again, I'm not complaining. I am not complaining today. In a few videos ago, I said that some downward pressure could happen, especially from where we're at, but also that anything can change off of a dime. Okay, and you have to understand where we're at in the market. That can happen at any point. Okay, again, right now we're sitting. We closed at 694.50. We're literally right there from all time highs. What, $2.50, maybe $3. Okay, so if we're going to continue to go now, the first thing I would say is, again, like I said in my previous video, regardless that the markets are pumping, again, I'm not complaining. If you've been buying this dip, you shouldn't be complaining. I'm not complaining. I'm up on my positions. I am not complaining at all. But at the end of the day, what is this market really pumping on? The market is really pumping on, it's either that it's pricing in all of the the bad news, the whole war, the conflict, inflation, and stuff like that, or what I'm thinking is that it's pricing in that talks that the war is going to end really, really soon, and we're popping off of that news. Okay, so again, just like I say, if something happens, if there isn't a deal made with Iran, then we could come back down. Now, I don't foresee that. I do believe that a deal will get worked out really, really soon. I do believe that, and if that happens, all-time highs. But the first level that I would say to watch out for, especially since we are so close to all-time highs, is this previous resistance level that is hit multiple times up here at 697.87. So if we were to come up to that level, let's see if we're gonna hit it again and reject off of it, or if we're gonna finally break through that level and potentially hit 700 on the S&P 500. Okay. Now, I do, if you notice this, there's a big gap. This is from last week when, what was it? President Trump said that basically he was going to bomb Iran, and then he backed down and the markets flew from there. Okay. So, this gap could get filled potentially, but, again, markets are strong, markets are green, and, I would expect in the next couple of days for us to potentially come up here and test this previous basically resistance level. Okay, now again, anything can happen, of course, but again, there's really strong bullish momentum for the past few days, and it's been strong. Volume has been strong. So if this momentum keeps up, I would expect us to reach this level, potentially test it, and see if we want to break past it or see if we want to reject off of it. Okay, again, we got to take everything day by day. Now, something that I will say is I have been, if you want to know what I'm buying, you want to know what stocks that I'm buying, I always alert them in my Discord what I'm buying. And a lot of these stocks, the software stocks, are at their lows still. I mean, look at markets are running, and you have CRM at its lows, Microsoft, MSFT, pretty much at its lows here. I mean, its lowest point was 355, is at 390. But look at all this red. Stocks like Pond W, nope, sorry, Pond W again, still for the most part at its lows, and then another one, PLTR. There's plenty more as well, but just showing like some of the bigger ones pretty much at their lows. Okay, so if you want to know what I'm buying, again, check out the Discord. That is going to be the first link. But I think that these are is a good time to accumulate these companies. Again, nothing I say is financial advice. But yeah, now another thing too I will say is that today, basically, if you are trading on Robinhood, and yeah, Webull as well, before, if you didn't have $25,000 in your account, you basically had a PDT rule, as they call it, pattern day trade rule, which you could only trade 3 times in 5 days. You had to have more than $25,000 in your account. But they basically took that off. So stocks like Bull have been running. I mean, look at this. We're pretty much at our lows on Bull. But stocks like Bull, Webull, and then stocks like Hood have been running today. Okay, so if you want to know what I'm going to be doing with these stocks, I'm going to be alerting these in my Discord this week. We'll probably make a play on it. Okay, but again, like I said, we got to take it day by day. It was nice to see the stock market is green, but my main concern really is the fact that there's this huge gap to fill. Now, again, I'm not saying that this gap has to get filled. We are above finally the 200 SMA, or should I say the 200? No, that is the 200 SMA on the daily time frame. So we could come back down and test this at some point in the next couple of days, in the next couple of weeks, and possibly fill this gap. But like I said, and like I stated in my previous video, is that back in the April lows, we left a gap here pretty much. I'm right there as well. We actually left some sort of a gap, but we left a gap here, and then we just took off from there. So this could be that time. This could be that time to where we don't fill the gap and we can run. But again, from where we're at in in the Trump markets, I mean, anything can happen. Okay, so today was a profit taking day for me. I was up on some stocks, so I sold. I want to keep some cash just for in case we do come back down and either test this support level, or we come back down and fill the gap. That's what I'm doing with my money. You tell me what you're doing with your money. Whatever you feel is best. Again, nothing I say is financial advice, just what I'm doing and with my money. Now, something, really, really quick, I will point out, again, I do post these in my Discord as well, is, again, like I've been saying, even on this channel, is that I am a level trader. Now, I haven't really updated, I need to make these lines longer here, but I recently stated in my Discord that probably about 3 weeks ago that I was buying at this level right here at 309. And if you check out the link in the description, you can see that it's in there that I bought at 309. And literally Broadcom has just been running ever since. We're pretty much almost at 400. Okay, so I mean, this is a great company, great stock, and if you were adding on these lows, you're up really big. Okay, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Let's see if we stay green. I hope we do. Honestly, I am not mad with that, and we'll see you in the next video.